Yesterday, Jordanian authorities detained the man Irish investigators want to speak to in the Jamey Carney murder inquiry. At first, that sounded like the end of an international search, but one crucial detail changed the entire story. According to reporting from the Irish Examiner, Ahmad Al-Saqar was not detained because of an Irish arrest warrant. He has not been charged in Ireland in connection with Jamey's death, and Ireland does not have a bilateral extradition treaty with Jordan. So even though the person investigators want to question has reportedly been located, getting him back to Ireland may be far more complicated. This is the latest confirmed update in the murder investigation surrounding 43-year-old Jamey Carney, and the central question is no longer simply where the person of interest is. The question is this: what happens now? Before we continue, this video is based only on publicly available information from official statements and established news and organizations. The investigation is ongoing. Ahmad Al-Saqar is described as a person of interest. He has not been convicted or publicly charged in connection with Jamey Carney's death and must be presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. Jamey Carney was 43 years old and originally from the United States. She had been living in Killarney, County Kerry, where she was raising her young daughter. People who know Jamey have described her as a caring mother and a hard-working woman. Her story should not be reduced to the final hours of her life or to the man investigators now want to question. She was a person with a family, friends, and a daughter whose life has been changed forever. On Tuesday, the 7th of July, Jamey was found dead inside a residence in the Muckross Road area of Killarney. The guards initially opened an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the discovery. A post-mortem examination was then completed by state pathologist Dr. Linda Mulligan. The official results were not released because the investigation was active. However, after the examination, the guards confirmed that the case had been updated to a murder investigation. A senior investigating officer was appointed. An incident room was established at Killarney Guard Station. Specialist National Unit who has also joined the investigation, including the Garda National Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the Garda National Immigration Bureau. Investigators then used a very specific appeal. They asked anyone who had been in the Muckross Road area between 11 o'clock on the night of Monday, the 6th of July, and 5 o'clock on Tuesday morning to contact them. They were especially interested in CCTV, dashcam footage, or any other recording captured during that 6-hour period. That narrow window is important. It shows that investigators were concentrating heavily on what happened during the night and the early hours of the morning. But another part of the investigation would soon transform this from a local murder inquiry into an international operation. On the 9th of July, the guards confirmed that a person of interest had left Ireland. According to their official statement, that person left the jurisdiction in the early hours of Tuesday, the 7th of July. That was before Jamey's body was discovered and before her death was reported to the guards. The official statement did not publicly name the person, but Irish news organizations later identified the man investigators want to speak to as Ahmad Al-Saqar, who was reported to have been in a relationship with Jamey. Reports stated that he left Killarney and traveled toward Dublin Airport. The Irish Times reported that he was captured on CCTV leaving County Kerry and that a flight to Turkey had been booked. From that moment, investigation was no longer confined to Killarney. The guards began working with international law enforcement partners. They needed to determine where the person of interest had traveled and whether he had remained in Turkey or continued to another country. The search reportedly began to focus on Jordan, Mr. Al-Saqar country of origin. But locating someone and legally returning that person are two very different things. At this stage, investigator had publicly described him as person of interest. There was no public confirmation of an Irish charge. There was also no announcement of an Irish arrest warrant. That distinction became extremely important on Monday, the 13th of July. RTE reported that a man the guards wanted to speak to had been arrested in the Middle East. The Irish Examiner later reported that Ahmad Al-Saqar had been detained by Jordan's Public Security Directorate. After days of uncertainty about his location, the news appeared to represent a major breakthrough. But then came the detail that changed the meaning of that detention. A guard source told the Irish Examiner that he had not been arrested on the basis of an Irish arrest warrant. The Irish Times also reported that Irish authorities had asked several international police forces for assistance and information. However, according to that report, the guards had not asked Jordan or another police force to arrest the person of interest. This means the public must be careful with words such as arrested, captured, and extradited. Being detained by Jordanian authorities does not automatically mean that a person has been charged with a crime in Ireland. It does not mean an Irish court has issued a warrant, and it does not mean that arrangements have already been made to bring that person back. The public information available at the time of this video does not explain the exact legal reason for the Jordanian detention. Jordanian authorities may have acted under their own domestic laws or for another legal or administrative reason, but that has not been publicly confirmed in detail. Until the legal basis is officially explained, it would be wrong to claim that Mr. Al-Saqar was arrested in Jordan for Jamey's murder. The accurate wording is that he was detained in Jordan and remains a person Irish investigators want to speak to. That brings us to the extradition problem. Extradition is a legal process through which one country asks another country to surrender a person who is wanted for prosecution or punishment. It is not as simple as putting a person on an aircraft and sending them back. A legal basis is required. Evidence must be prepared. Formal requests must be made through the correct government and court system. The person involved may also have the right to challenge the requests. Ireland and Jordan do not have bilateral extradition treaties specially governing the return of wanted people between the two countries. That does not automatically make a return impossible. Countries can sometimes cooperate through diplomatic arrangements, domestic legal powers, or other international mechanisms. A person may also agree to return voluntarily. However, without a clear treaty process, every step can become slower and less predictable. Before Ireland can seek the return of someone for prosecution, investigators would normally need a clear legal foundation. That could require the investigation team to prepare a detailed file containing witness statements, forensic findings, CCTV, travel records, phone information, and any other relevant evidence. In Ireland, an investigation file can be submitted to the Director of Public Prosecution. The Director of Public Prosecution then independently decides whether the available evidence supports criminal charges. There has been no public announcement that Director of Public Prosecution has directed that Ahmad Al-Saqar should be charged. There has also been no public confirmation that an Irish arrest warrant has been issued. That means several major stages may still need to happen before a formal extradition request can be considered. Investigators must first continue building the case. They must establish a reliable timeline. They must examine what happened inside Jamey's home. They must analyze available forensic and digital evidence. And they must determine whether the evidence meets the legal standards required to charge any person. This is also why the person of interest description matters. A person of interest is someone investigators believe may have information relevant to a case. The term does not itself prove that the person committed a crime. Mr. Al-Saqar has not given his accounts publicly. No defense response to the investigation has been reported, and no Irish court has tested the evidence. The presumption of innocence therefore remains essential. But the confirmed travel timeline is still a major focus of public interest. The guard said the person of interest left Ireland in the early hours of the 7th of July. Jamey's body had not yet been discovered. News report later linked the journey to a route from Killarney to Dublin airport and then to Turkey. The Jordanian detention indicate that the journey may have continued beyond Turkey, but the complete sequence has not yet been officially released. We do not know from confirmed public information exactly when he arrived in Jordan. We don't know which authorities tracked each stage of the journey, and we do not know whether the detention followed an international alert, information supplied by Irish investigator, or an action taken independently by Jordanian security services. These questions matter because the answer could reveal how closely different police forces were cooperating. They could also explain why the detention happened before an Irish arrest warrant was publicly confirmed. The next question is how long Jordanian authorities can hold him. That depends on Jordanian law and on the reason he was detained. Without an official explanation of that legal basis, nobody outside the process can responsibly state how long the detention would continue. Irish investigators may now be working urgently to preserve the situation while they determine the next legal step. They may seek permission to question him in Jordan. They may send evidence or a formal request for legal assistance. They may complete a file for the Director of Public Prosecutions. And depending on future decisions, Irish authorities could eventually seek a warrant and begin a return process. But none of those outcomes should be presented as confirmed until authorities announce them. Meanwhile, the murder investigation in Killarney continues. The house on Muckross Road was preserved for a technical examination. Investigators have been collecting footage and information covering the hours between 11 at night on the 6th of July and 5 the following morning. CCTV from roads, businesses, homes, buses and Dublin airports could help establish movements. Phone and online activity may also be relevant. Although the guards have not publicly confirmed what digital evidence has been obtained,